Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Johnny Kane, and we have a first timer here on Open Mic. This young man's name is Raleigh Leppek from Howell High School. Raleigh, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, it's good to have you on. And first off, let's get to know you a little bit. What grade are you in, and what are you studying?
I'm a senior right now at Howell High School, and I'm looking to go to Michigan State next year for broadcasting.
It's a good decision. And you've got an older brother who goes to Michigan State already?
Yes, I do. He's right there studying law, but he's showed me a lot about state and really made me want to go there. So I'm very thankful for that.
Yeah, it's a great school. Obviously, a great broadcast program. So you'll be off and running here before long. But obviously, work to do at the high school level before you get on into
Yes.
college. And a
Yes.
great opportunity here to be doing be doing some work. To be on the show, talk about some of the interesting stories that are happening across the state. And what I find interesting is that the MHSAA is adding programs, and over the last couple of years or last several years, it seems like there's always cutbacks of sports that are being taken away. But now they've got a new sport that is into the fold for the spring semester, or spring quarter, spring semester, I guess it'd be called. What can you tell us?
Yeah, so the MHSAA is adding in boys volleyball now as a new sport, and I think it was something that a lot of people were trying to get to become a new thing, but officially recognized. There's a lot of clubs that they'd have going just after girls games and stuff like that, but I think it's really awesome now. It's becoming a mainstream sport coming in the next year, and I think it's going to grow big audiences and become a new, hopefully big sport amongst high school.
Sure. I know. I remember when I was in high school. I went to high school back in Northwest Ohio, and there was a young man from our school that actually transferred out to go to another program where they had boys volleyball. It wasn't something that was available when I was in high school, and I'm a couple years older than you, just a couple, but but I know it. It's a popular sport, and obviously a lot of gifted athletes. Do you have any friends that play boys volleyball? Do you have any connection to it?
I had a few kids who I played basketball with. They played in separate leagues. So one of them, the center of my basketball team's probably 6'7" or something. He would play in a league back at Legacy, which is basically just community center. And those two would just play a ton. And in gym class, we'd see him. We you should really play somewhere and stuff. You could go to college for this. So those two guys were just really good.
Yeah, and obviously it helps to have a little bit of length. I've covered volleyball on the high school level, and then through college. Actually, one of my previous stops before I got to Detroit, I remember I covered Division II women's volleyball, and just some tremendous athletes and some crossover sports too. Do you see aside from the obvious parallels with obviously great height? You mentioned your buddy's the center, which helps for guys that play at the front of the net. Do you see how the sport of boys volleyball kind of correlates to some other sports? There might be some advantages.
I could definitely see it just with the reaction times and stuff that'll come from maybe on the basketball court, stuff like that, just that natural athleticism, the coordination, making quick plays like that. I think it could definitely correlate. And I think it could honestly make players better at separate sports. How coaches always talk about how they want athletes playing two sports. I think boys volleyball could be the same thing. It could just help people become more athletic, better with hand-eye coordination.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. And just the sport itself, I know crowds, especially at high school. I mean, whether it's soccer, basketball, football, the high school crowds, the fan bases, they want to get into it. It's like you almost just need to give them a reason to come out, and kind of unwind, let your hair down. It just seems like at the high school level, it's like a fevered pitch about people that want to come out and support. How would you describe it at Howell High School? Like, what's the student body like attending sporting events?
Oh, I think it's amazing. The just seeing them all within the past few years with how football teams just become a lot better now. I think it's brought everyone together for basketball, girls basketball, baseball, every sport now. You're starting to see more and more people. And then I think my personal favorite's when we'll play a close hometown rival team and kind of see everyone come together from both communities and just make it a great atmosphere. And I think it'll do the same for boys volleyball.
Yeah, I sure hope so, and I'm excited to see where it goes from here. I miss my time in high school, and for a lot of competitors, a lot of athletes, that's it. Like high school athletics is that's going to be it as far as your sanctioned competition. I would say you can always play club stuff when you get into college and further it that way, but I've always just felt there's a great value placed on high school athletes, and the more sports that they can be involved in, the better. And with boys volleyball coming to the MHSA, I just think it's going to be a great deal. So, without further ado, let's listen to Raleigh Leppek from Howell High School on the MHSAA and its edition of boys volleyball coming up in the spring semester.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Sportscasters Open Mic Radio. I'm Raleigh Leppek, and today we're talking about something big. For the first time in nearly 20 years, the MHSAA is officially adding a new sport to its lineup, and that sport, boys volleyball. That's right, starting in the 2025-2026 school year, boys volleyball will officially become a sanctioned sport under the Michigan High School Athletic Association. It joins girls field hockey, which was just added this fall as one of the newest MHSAA recognized sports since 2004. Let's take a quick look at the history of boys volleyball in Michigan. Even though girls volleyball has been a part of high school athletics for decades, boys volleyball has had a tougher road. The sport started to grow quietly in the 1970s and 1980s, mostly in southeast Michigan, where local clubs and high schools organized unofficial leagues. But because it wasn't recognized by the MHSAA, boys teams had to rely on volunteer coaches and pay-to-play models and limited access to gym space, often playing after the girls' teams were done for the night. Fast forward to today, and that passion never went away. According to the Michigan Boys Volleyball Coaches Association, there are now more than 70 high schools across the state that offer boys volleyball at the club level, and that number keeps growing every season. The popularity has especially taken off in Metro Detroit, Grand Rapids, and Ann Arbor. So, what does becoming an MHSAA sport actually mean? It means schools will now be able to compete for official state titles. It means athletes will have structured seasons, certified officials, and access to school funding. And maybe most importantly, it gives the sport credibility, the same recognition as basketball, football, or track. This move could also boost recruiting and scholarships in colleges in Michigan and across the Midwest, like Ball State, Lewis, and Purdue Fort Wayne. They have strong men's volleyball programs. High school players here will finally have a career path to play at the next level. Now, there's also Title IX angle to this. Title IX requires gender equality in school sports, meaning that opportunities for boys and girls must be balanced. In addition to boys volleyball, actually helps with that. For years, schools have added more girls' sports like wrestling and field hockey to meet equality requirements. But adding boys volleyball doesn't tip the scales unfairly. It helps balance participation numbers in schools that already offer a large number of girls' teams. It's a part of an overall trend toward expanding access for both genders, not limiting it. In short, this is a win-win. It opens new doors for male athletes while maintaining fairness across the board. So here's the bottom line. Boys volleyball is finally stepping into the spotlight in Michigan after decades of being played in the shadows. It's getting the recognition it deserves, and for the players, this moment is long overdue. What do you think? Will boys volleyball take off in Michigan the way girls volleyball did decades ago? And could it be the next big high school sport to fill gyms every spring? I'm Raleigh Leppek, and this has been Open Mic Radio, where student voices keep the conversation alive in Michigan high school sports.
All right, you were listening to Raleigh Leppek from Howell High School, and really good stuff about boys volleyball coming to the MHSAA. Appreciate his time on that. I want to thank all our guests on the show today. J.C. Fox from Mississippi College as we preview the upcoming Winter Olympic Games in Italy. A lot to look forward to on that. Also want to thank my friend and coworker, Donald Schasser, for his involvement working with numbers and stats on a lot of our broadcasts in the NBA and Major League Baseball through the FanDuel Sports Network. And also Mary Claire Zacharias about how athletes, going back into the crossover sports of how a lot of elite athletes, professional level athletes, how they train in other disciplines in order to work on hand-eye coordination and obviously train in the mental component of sports. That is going to do it this week on Open Mic. As always, we appreciate you listening. And as always, want to remind you that we come on every Wednesday night at 8 o'clock here on WJR. we look forward to seeing you back here next week, same time. I'm Johnny Kane with sportscaster.com. Until next time, Godspeed.